Hi, and welcome back to PySimpleGUI 2020 Part 6, Beautiful Windows. How many times have you heard the phrase tkinter sucks, or looks ugly, or looks like it's from the 90s on Reddit and elsewhere? I have, and I'm here to testify that windows do not have to look ugly. They can look nice. In fact, this window and this window were created with tkinter. I don't think they're ugly. Some people may. They don't have animated buttons and that sort of thing going on, but they're not ugly. One thing is clear, though. Beautiful windows don't just happen. And in particular, if you're using tkinter and use the default values and end up with a gray window, you don't have room to complain because you've done nothing to try to make your window look beautiful. It's not a push button experience. If it was, you wouldn't have a job as a programmer. There's a reason graphic designers exist. They figure out how to make colors that match, for example. And one of the things that PySimpleGUI does for you is help you get colors that do match. And that is done through themes. And what themes are is a way to automatically color your windows as they are created. So you set a theme and then you create your window. What you cannot do at the moment is create a window and then set a theme and have it change your window. If you're doing that sort of operation, what you'll need to do is close your window, change the theme, open up a new window, and it'll have the new theme. So what are the choices for themes? Well, you can find that out by calling a function called sgtheme, and you notice right away there are a lot of theme calls. Those are all documented, but there's a theme previewer, and you can call that. It takes all of the themes. It takes a moment to create because there are a lot of elements that go into this preview. In fact, it is a very large preview. There are 140 some themes. The previewer shows them all. Here they all are. Here's the names, the name format. There's a couple of them, but the ones that are the standardized start with the word dark or light. Then there's a color that could be blue, purple, gray, green, teal, red, and then a number. And if you're not sure what you want to use, guess and keep guessing until you get a color theme that you like. So let's create a sample window and play around with themes. And this is my test program. I talked about live templates earlier with PyCharm. It's Control-J. I made a bunch of them because I make windows a lot. And you can just copy and paste something from the cookbook, like one of the two design patterns, and use that. So there's a default theme, and it is a gray, I think it's dark blue, something like that. So here's the default theme. If I change this to say, I don't know what this is going to look like. We're going to say dark green 4. And I run the same program, and it will use dark green. And there are multiple aspects that are set with a theme. there's the background color, there's the color of the input box, there's colors of buttons, that's the text and the background, there's the color of the text, there's a lot of settings that go into themes, and you can modify those at will. So if you don't like one particular part of the theme, you can change that. Here's dark red. I kind of like this theme. It uses a white text for input. If you didn't like this input color, you can change that by doing SG theme, and then it's input text color, and if we wanted to make it yellow, that's what we would do. So we choose a dark red, we change the input to yellow, and now these are yellow characters. It's very handy. And if you don't put a parameter, then it returns whatever that current setting is. In this case, it's probably going to be white, which is what it is when we print it. And if you really want to experiment and try to find a theme that you want, then you can enter in some value that's incorrect, and it will dump out a warning message that says your theme is not a valid one. Change it. Here's what they are, and in the last thing, instead, please enjoy a random theme named Light Brown 6. So maybe you like Light Brown 6. If not, you run your program again with guess, it's wrong, and this one is called Dark Blue 11. So you can just cycle through them until you get something you like. So that's colors. Let's talk about the styling of a window. That's where the window call itself comes into play, and its many parameters. Let's do keep on top is true, so that when we run this, let's see, we'd like dark red. When we run this, I'll be able to show you things here, and the window will stay on top of PyCharm. So here is our default window. It's got normal window things. Let's say we want to make it sort of like a rain meter widget. And if you're not familiar with rain meter and widgets, it's a desktop widgeting package. It makes things that look like this, for example, that you just let run on your desktop, and it shows you statistics and that sort of thing. You can make those using PySimpleGUI, and there are some tricks to do that. First thing we want to do is let's get rid of the title bar. So we set no title bar true, and when we run it now, we're going to end up with a window that has no title bar. Well, without the title bar, when you click on it, there's nothing to click to move it, right? So we need to add another parameter to do that, and that is the grab anywhere parameter, right? So now when we run it, we have a window that has no title bar, but we can grab it anywhere and move it around on our screen. So already we got a little bit nicer looking window, right? Another thing that you can do to spice up your windows is, in particular, if you want to make it like a rain meter thing so that it looks good sitting on a background, is use the alpha channel. So let's set the alpha channel to 0.8. Alpha channel is the transparency for the window. Here you can see that you can see through the window, and so it looks a little bit lighter looking on your desktop. You can make that even lower, but it's a way of setting transparency and making your window kind of fade into the background of whatever it's sitting on top of. And in my case, it's a black desktop. Buttons are always a sore point for people, and I get it. I sort of understand where if you're looking for something fancier, then maybe you don't like these rectangular buttons. And if that's the case, then it's time to bring in your own buttons. And you can do that pretty easily by using some helper programs and using the image parameters for things like buttons. I'm going to show you a technique here though that uses the image element instead of the button element. What we'll do is use a button that is a toggle button, so there'll be a pair of them. Let me pull them up. And so here is a pair of toggle buttons. And in fact, here's an exit button that we can use as well. I like PySimpleGUI programs that are self-contained. If you distribute this little test program and you use these buttons, then you've got these 3 buttons, images, pings, that you need to keep with your .py file, and if you don't turn it into an exe. And I'm not a particular fan of doing that. I like to put them inside of the Py file. And there are a couple of programs that come with PySimpleGUI in the demos section that help you do that. And it's the type of image that goes into your files are called base64. That's the encoding that you use. And you can put them as variables. There are 2 programs. One encodes individual images, the other encodes a whole folder at a time. If we look at the demo programs, you'll find demo base64 as the beginning, and there's an image and an image source encoder, image single encoder, pardon me. I'm going to use the single encoder, and in fact, let's pull this up. It's a big program. That's all there is to it, and it uses the front-end techniques that we talked about earlier, where you call pop-up get file to begin the program. So when I run this program, it's going to ask for an image to be encoded, and then it says it's going to place it on the clipboard. So what I need to do is come over here, and let's take the off button. I'm going to paste the address of it here and hit OK. And it says that it copied it to the clipboard. So I go back to my source file, and here I'm going to say toggle off is equal to that, which is our encoded button. And I've got PyCharm where it wraps the lines. Don't worry about the length so much. If we run that program again, single image encoder, I'm going to grab this button on and put it in there. Oops, the button on, and and you can also, of course, use this browse button, and it will browse to wherever it is. But I just like to copy and paste it sometimes. It's much quicker. So I copied and pasted that, and now it's on the clipboard. Come back over to here, and we're going to say this was toggle on equals that. Now, I had said that we're going to use an image element, so let's take these buttons and comment them out. So check this out. You can comment out rows in your layout. So now when I run this program, it won't have these buttons. So let's do our toggles. So we're going to have an image element, and for images, do a Control P to get the list of options, and a control Q brings up these over here, and its data is the one we're looking for. So data equals toggle, we'll say toggle off to start. Let's set ourselves a flag called toggle is on, and we'll set it to false because it's off. So actually, let's leave the exit button on for the time being so that we can exit the program. When we run this now, we will see an image with an off button shown. Right? Exit goes away. Let's get rid of this alpha channel. Now we want to make it so that when we click that image, it toggles the button. And the way to get events back when an image is clicked is we enable the events for that image. So if we set enable events true, then we're going to get an event equals to whatever this key is. Let's call this I for image. Let's get rid of this row here that does the text. So now when someone clicks the image, we're going to get an event with a dash I, right? And we've said that what we want it to do is update that same element. So let's copy this. I just happen to have in that template an update. So we're going to update the image, and I know that but because I read the documentation for the image element, I know that the parameter is called data, and to change it, we're going to say toggle on if toggle is on is true, else toggle off. So I've used a turn expression here so that it will choose one of those two depending on what toggle. So toggle is on, we're going to say it's not toggle is on, so that will toggle it back and forth. Now when we run this, we should see it off. When I click it, it goes to on. When I click it again, it goes to off. So that's a nice looking button, right? And it's in the program so that we don't have to carry it around. And let's do something about this exit button now. Let's say for exit, we're going to run the same conversion. So we're going to do a single image. Let's come over here and let's get our exit button. Paste it in there. Awesome. Let's put it on the clipboard. Now we're going to come back to our lessons, and we're going to say exit button is equal to that encoded thing. Now down here, let's make exit the text be the key, because we're not going to have text. We're going to have a button image now. And when I pull up Control Q here, you will see, looking through here, there is image file name. We could use the file, but there's image data. So that's what we will use, is image data equals, what did I call it? Exit button, right? Now let's run this, and what you'll see is there's still a button there for it. It's raised, and because the image that I'm using is a ping image, it has some transparent portions, and those transparent portions are showing through. And the button is this other color of red. It doesn't match the background. And we probably want it to match the background, right? So the way to do that is by changing the button color. So button color is a parameter, and it takes two colors. And what we want to set it to is, I'm going to put these on separate lines, even though I told you not to do that, but I want to make this clear. Button colors come in, there's in tuples, and the way to remember it is to use the word on as the comma, so it's some color on some other color. And in this case, we want the background color for this theme, so it's the theme background color as the text, and let's also use it as the color of the button itself. So now if we run it, the color that is used for the background for the window is on the button. Now you see also that there's still a button looking thing there. It's raised. So we want to set the border width to be 0 in that case. So now let's look at it again, and we have an exit button, and it does move. When you click it, notice it does move, unlike the toggle button. So it is a real button. It's exiting the program because I have a key called exit, and it's set here if the event is exit, it's going to break. Remember that I can grab this window anywhere and move it around. And to show you that this theme thing works, let's say that we want light blue 3. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I hope it looks okay. Look at that. It looks fine. The button turned out good. It blends with the background, and it blends with the background because I said use the theme background color. Let me pull back up the documentation again. There is a section on beautifying windows. There's some examples. These may not be the most beautiful to you, but it's to show you that tkinter windows aren't necessarily ugly. You can do some pretty cool things with tkinter. The cookbook also goes through how to use themes. There's like I said, 140 of them or something. So spend a little time and make your windows look beautiful. Tkinter can do a fine job of making nice looking windows, and it's on you to make that happen. Thank you for watching. I hope that you're getting as much enjoyment out of PySimpleGUI as I have in creating it. Be safe.